Hello everyone. So this evening I wanted to make a quick video showing you guys how I am sort of tracking my financial progress. And on this channel we talk about ways to shift from being a 9 to 5 office worker, knowledge worker, um, to something different, an entrepreneur, being your own boss, being your own um, charting your own destiny kind of thing. And in my case, I'm a software developer and have been for quite a long time now. We've talked on this channel about how there are mental shifts that you have to make to sort of move from being um, a knowledge worker to doing something else, something completely new. And one of the things that I think's just, of course, absolutely paramount to making that shift is getting into a better financial situation, especially if, like me, you're older, you have a family to support. Um, it's kind of like shifting from a 9 to 5 job to being your own boss is kind of like you've got to keep the wheels on the bus while the bus is moving, and you got to change the tires one tire at a time while the bus is moving. And so it's a challenge to kind of keep all of the balls in the air, and everything is moving so quickly, and you're trying to make this fundamental shift, and that you're no longer going to be a 9 to 5 worker one day, depending on your timeline. Maybe that takes 6 months, maybe it takes 6 years. But no matter what you do, I think for most of us anyway, finances are going to be something that it's incredibly important to optimize and to keep tabs on and to move the needle on. I mean, how do you know if you're making progress or not? And I know that there are a ton of great software options out there for budgeting and for tracking um, your cash flow, financial planning, all of that. And I'm sure you've used a lot of them. Maybe you have a favorite one you can tell me about in the comments. I use Monarch Money, and I have used YNAB or You Need a Budget in the past. I've pretty much used them all, but I think YNAB and Monarch are probably my two favorite right now. I'm sure with all of the AI craze that's coming out lately, there are probably brand new personal finance softwares that I don't even know about that are out there that are quite good. So in a lot of the personal finance software that you can pay for is great, and then there's a lot of wonderful features that come with it. But I think that for me, there were some key things that I really wanted to keep an eye on, that the personal finance software, while it may let me keep an eye on those things, I feel like a Google Sheet has really been instrumental in helping me and forcing me almost to keep tabs on what matters the most. So I want to talk about that a little bit. I've created a Google Sheet. It's super simple. And I want to just show you some of the things that I'm tracking on it today and tell you why I did it. So part one here is what I track with my money. That's kind of part one of what I want to take a look at. So let's look at the Google Sheet. Um, these are really simple columns and rows here. I've got a lot of different tabs going on here, but I'm not going to worry about all the different tabs right now. I'm going to focus on the one called wealth. I could have probably name this tab something better, but for right now it's called wealth. And I'm tracking some columns here, and I just want to explain what they mean. And they're pretty self-explanatory actually, but every day it's really the important thing to me here is more about the behavior of what I'm doing every day to move my financial needle forward in a positive direction, hopefully. And every day I'm adding an entry in this spreadsheet. So like you can see the first entry was on December 19th of 2025. And what I do is I add how much cash I have, how much investments I have, and that's including retirement and brokerage accounts, um, credit cards, loans. I put those in as negative numbers. Didn't used to have credit card or loan debt for many, many years, but the past few years have been really challenging. So I've unfortunately accumulated some of that really bad debt, and you can see all that in columns D and E here. And then I've got a net worth column. Now, these are kind of the basic columns here. You got assets. I have the assets on one side, columns B and C, and then the liabilities D and E. Um, so, and then I use those columns A, B, or sorry, B, C, D, and E to calculate my net worth column. I, I know that net worth is a term that everybody's familiar with and everybody uses that term a lot. But this net worth to me is a little bit different in that I don't have my house lumped into this. So neither the outstanding mortgage on my house is here, nor is the worth or the value of my house right now. I'm excluding that from net worth. So I could almost call column F more like a liquid net worth because I'm not including real estate. I'm not including vehicles. I own a few vehicles outright, and I'm not including those in my net worth. I mean, I'm just really focused on liquid net worth. So, what cash do I have? What investments? What at credit cards, loans, and then that's how I'm calculating that net worth. The column that I really care about, and this is why I'm, going to the tedious trouble of making a new entry, a new row in the spreadsheet every single day, 7 days a week, is this column G. It's called, and what it stands for is net worth change since start. So that means I started this thing on December 19th, 2025. You can see that's row two here. And the net worth change since start is what I'm interested in because I really need to see that number continue to be positive, and the more positive, the better, or else I've got a negative cash flow going on. I've got a negative savings rate. Now, there are a lot of budgeting tools that will show you your cash flow, and Monarch Money does a great job of showing cash flow. And you can look at cash flow and you can see whether you're positive or negative cash flow. It's really pretty and visual and nicely done on a website, or their app is great as well. This isn't an advertisement for Monarch Money, but it's, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, to show your cash flow. But the net worth change since start, I just feel like that metric, I kind of came up with the idea of, starting on this day, what was my net worth? And then every single day after that day until the day I die, hopefully, I'm going to track that net worth change since start, since December 19th, 2025. And you can see that at first, the first few days here, my net worth changed since start. So relative to December 19th, the first day, I had a negative net worth change since that day. And then you can see these numbers are negative, negative, and then you can guess what happened on December 25th, Christmas actually, Christmas Day. That's around the day that my paycheck at my desk job hit, and I could see that, you can see immediately, of course, that cash infusion made the net worth jump up a little bit, and my net worth change since start became a positive number on December 25th. And you can see it's positive the next day and positive for several days after that. I may have gotten some money for Christmas from family, and it went up a little bit more. And you can start to see it go down again. And now I get paid again tomorrow, and you can see that I'm down to negative $1,223.40. So tomorrow, when my paycheck comes in, though, I'll add another row in this spreadsheet for January 9th, and um, I'll see how much the net worth change since start, this column G, goes up by. But to me, the real measure of whether I'm moving the needle forward or not um, has a lot to do with this one metric, this net worth change since start. And if I'm being honest, I'm really holding my feet to the fire if I'm making a new entry in this spreadsheet every single day and tracking this number. And until I can totally break free with my own business, and eventually, of course, retire on assets, this column is going to be what I really need to watch like every single day. And this column is going to be largely influenced by my W-2 desk job paycheck, but I'm trying to change that so that this column is more influenced by assets and by business activity than it is through obviously my W-2 jobs paycheck. But there's some other columns after this, like column H, net worth, last change. The LC stands for last change. So you can just see on a day-to-day basis the net worth last change. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. The red numbers are the negative numbers are obviously down, and the positive green and black that are it's going up again. And then I have another column just where I'm looking at assets, and in this case, it's those liquid assets, so just cash or investments. So on a daily basis, I'm seeing if my assets change since start are up or down. And then column J, and this is one that I'm really trying to pay attention to in 2026, the debt change since start. This one's almost just as important, if not as important, as column G, the net worth, the overall net worth change since start. But column J, the debt change since start, is a real indicator of whether or not I'm paying off my debt. And when I get my paycheck tomorrow, a good portion of it is going to need to go towards fighting this negative number here in cell J22, right? At least $396.46 of my paycheck, really, hopefully a little bit more than that, needs to go towards fighting that number so that I can see it return to a positive number, meaning that my debt is less, hopefully tomorrow on January 9th, than it was when this thing started, when I started all these entries on December 19th. And then the last column here is just days since start, and that's just counting the rows, really, counting the days since December 19th, 2025, which is kind of like my ground zero for this little experiment. And then I've got another column here where I kind of just make some notes, but this sheet is tedious. I mean, it takes me maybe 5 minutes to do each day, or 4 minutes. But it really holds my feet to the fire with watching these two columns, the net worth change since start in column G and the debt change since start in column J. Those are kind of like the two columns I'm really looking at every day. And it's interesting to see how I'm trending. And I think, only time will tell how well I'm able to move the needle the rest of this year. But I certainly hope that this spreadsheet is going to tell a story by the end of 2026 that my financial needle is moving in the right direction towards the end of the year. Just a couple other quick things that I'll show. This tab called retirement. This is just a simple spreadsheet tracking day by day. And right now, I think my target at the end of the spreadsheet is just to get to $1 million. But this sheet just tracks every single day what's my target balance. And I did use AI to come up with this sheet, and I need to really like double check the accuracy of it. But um, it's it's coming up with what the target balance needs to be for each day of my retirement accounts. And then in column D, I plug in every day what my actual balance is. It calculates the difference, and if the difference is positive, then it says it's on track. You can see a little formula here. I think I used Claude to come up with this formula, and then it's the same formula, but you can see whether I'm on track or behind. And I'm making notes here about on the side, just about some things that I'm thinking as I'm updating the sheet. But if you scroll down, I mean, at the end of this, so the target balance starting out on January 3rd was $206,655.52. But if you scroll way down to the very bottom of this sheet, I think I took it out 15 years. Yeah, I think I took it out 15 years, and at the end of all of that, we should get to, got way too much scrolling to do here to show you, but at the end of all that, we should get down to about $1 million. Yeah, about $1.1 million. And that's all the way out in 2040. But, I mean, these are some things that I'm doing every day. It takes about 5 minutes. The first tab that I showed you to update that, and then the retirement tab. I've also got a crypto tab that I'm updating. Um, and I won't go through all of these columns, but this is just a more granular thing that I'm using to keep track of some crypto, some Bitcoin holdings. And that's a whole nother topic, Bitcoin. We'll get into that in this channel, but I'm not going to this evening. I just really wanted to show you this spreadsheet for right now. And I mean, the biggest point behind this is that there's tons of free software out there that you can get, and you can use that free software and paid for software that you can get that will help you track your finances. But I think that taking a hands-on approach and taking just a few minutes every day to really look at your numbers and see how you're trending, whether you do it in a spreadsheet or you do it using whatever your financial software is of choosing, I think that really helps you keep yourself honest and move the needle forward, hopefully, on your shift from towards financial independence, towards financial freedom. So anyway, yeah, that was it for this video. So let me know in the comments. I'm curious if you guys use any particular method, especially like if you have a particular behavior that you do every day. Like I just showed you how I update my Google Sheet every day with those three tabs to keep me honest with my finances and to keep me on track. I'm curious in the comments if you leave a comment and let me know what you guys use. If it's spreadsheets, I know Tiller Money is a spreadsheet based budgeting slash finance system that I've used in the past that I think is phenomenal if you're into using sheets, or if you use another tool like Monarch or you need a budget, which I also think are great. Again, I'm not sponsoring any of these companies, or they're not sponsoring me. They're not paying me. I've just used them in the past and I really like them. I'm curious what you guys think. Especially curious if you have come up with any new ones or found any new ones in 2025 or 2026 that you think are just really super impressive. Anyway, that is it for this video, and uh, peace out, and we will talk on the next one. The only other thing I should mention, and I think a lot of folks do this on their channels anytime they're talking about finances or money. Like I am not a financial advisor, so this is just for entertainment purposes. That's my disclaimer. So don't take anything I say as financial advice. This is just an older dude, software developer talking to you. Um, about what he thinks about his own personal finances, and it's in no way to be taken as advice. But with that said, take care of yourselves. Keep striving towards keep striving towards your goal, if it is your goal to kind of break away from being a knowledge worker into doing something else, something new, something different, where you have more agency, more autonomy, and more freedom in your life. I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you'll tune in for the next video. All right, peace out.